Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome back to the only podcast produced by three two-time winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. You're tuned into the Check Engine Podcast. We're hosted on Anchor.fm, and we are streamed worldwide on any platform that you use to listen to your favorites. My name is Nick, and joining me, as they've done for 120 whatever episodes, are my good friends Andrew and Tristan. What is up, fellas?
Is it really 120 now? I swear we just talked about doing 100.
Yeah, but that was like last July or something like that. So we had done a whole bunch to end the year.
No, never mind.
We're at like one. I know it's over 120.
What is time, Andrew? What is time?
Or maybe just every week I'm surprised at the episode.
Hey, we're still here, still doing it again.
Well, I feel like that might be true too, because I think I have a reaction every time someone brings up a episode number. So maybe I just don't remember things.
Yeah, I mean, I still remind myself that this is our fourth year doing this.
Well, that's its own thing, especially because of last year, like not being able to go to races, not being able to
record in person.
Yeah. That made that whole thing like disappear. I mean, I know we actually did episodes, but it really made it not count mentally for me, at least.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. But hey, we're still trucking along, and we've got a good one planned for you this week, Andrew. What are we talking about?
Well, I mean, don't overpromise. I'll start with that. But
manage expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Something that bothers me that car companies do occasionally, now and then, and it's kind of coming back, is creating like limited edition models with brands, like outside brands, not affiliated. They're not tuner cars. They're not anything like that.
Outside the automotive space.
Yeah, outside the automotive space almost completely. Usually they're fashion designers. But one thing I've had stuck in my head, and this is a little bit of a spoiler alert for what my first one will be, why, throughout all the history of this, has no like tool brand ever done a special edition truck? That seems like the most obvious thing in the world. So anyways, so we're going to talk about brands that should do, I don't know, what are we calling it? Crossover special editions with what automakers?
Right. So we're talking about brand synergy, I guess you want to call it.
I guess that's it. Because yeah, it's really more than just like, hey, it would be fun. At least for me, it was like, hey, it would be fun if, I can't think of any brands.
Well, that's not good. That's not a good omen for the episode.
Not a good start.
Off the top of my head. Hey, it would be funny if Dell made a Porsche, something like that. Not like that. In my mind, it's like, yeah, exactly what you said, Nick. Brand synergy, where there shouldn't be a reason why there hasn't been this thing.
Yeah, or kind of the flip side is like, there's a perfectly good reason to cross-sell people on a car and a brand of something else.
Yes,
for
definitely.
example. Yeah.
Okay, so I am then on the right track for a couple of my picks. Two of them fit your description perfectly, Andrew. One of them is just something I'd like to see happen, and specifically it's around because of a paint color that a certain brand makes, and I'll get into that.
But that makes sense, though. That's fine. That makes sense.
But like the two brands, I don't know if people would think, oh, this, like, why haven't they done this already? I think it's going to kind of come out of left field. But okay, anyway, we'll get to that.
Talking around the point.
Yeah, we're not going to talk around the. We'll get into it. But does anybody have before we get into our main topic, any pace laps or neat car news or anything? Tristan, you're on location, so what?
I am.
So what have you seen?
I have a big air quotes neat car news, as we've discussed in the past. I have the worst, most poorly captured photo of this vehicle because I captured it while I was trying to also drive.
Allegedly, he would never use his phone while he drives.
Yeah, don't try this at home, kids.
That's why it was awfully captured, because emphasis was on driving. But I saw a very new Toyota Tacoma with, and the name of this trend escapes me. Maybe you guys can help me. But it's where, like, they only bother to lift the front of the truck.
Is that a style, or isn't that just broken suspension?
No, it's a style. It's like it's like California squat or something. Like,
I'm gonna Google that, and if the images are funny, I'm gonna post them.
They are, and I was right. Or the Cali lean.
I thought it was gonna be porn.
Carolina squat, the California squat, or the Cali lean. It is where basically the back end of the truck is slammed and the front end of the truck is lifted, and it looks like it's just going down the road, like it's accelerating really hard.
Well, here we go. We made it 3 lines of images before. Just because you squat to pee doesn't mean your truck has to. Offensive.
So I saw a rather new Tacoma that was set up in this fashion. And the other interesting thing, neat thing about this is they had replaced the front grille. And on these newer Tacomas, the front grille says Tacoma. On this one, they had removed it and replaced it with, in large letters, Taco.
That's so dumb. Oh my god.
That part I actually enjoy. I'm just trying to get the idea of the Cali lean. So it's like you're basically driving like you're doing a wheelie the entire time.
Yes, it's almost impossible to see over the hood. And judging by what I saw, how I saw this vehicle behave, it seems like every time you turn, it's even more likely to flip over than just like a lifted truck. Somehow.
So, quick question. How do you see out do you have to look out the side window, like, to see where you're going?
That is a very good question. I don't know the answer. Not having
nose
driven
is pointed in the air.
Yes. So, imagine you'd push your seat all the way up. I don't know. So, neat.
Any listener out there who maybe drives one or has seen one or has worked on one,
you're dumb.
And reach out and try to explain yourself.
It's gatekeeping, Andrew. We gotta try to understand. We gotta try to understand first.
You don't understand. I want them out. It can be gatekeeping, and I can be fine with it if I am the Night's Watch.
You are the watcher on the wall. It's your job.
That's right.
All car culture welcome, except for you. Get out.
You weirdos.
Yeah. See?
Doesn't feel good. Yeah.
That feels great. Doesn't that feel better now?
I did say, what? What? No. I think those were the exact 3 words I said when I saw it. Because from the front, it's funny because from the front, like in my rearview mirror, I noticed the large taco first. I was like, that's kind of neat. And, and then I was like, something looks weird. Like, it looks lifted, but there's something weird about it. And then it went past me. I was like, what? No. So that was my response at first.
That's weird.
Andrew, you had something. I'm sorry. I kind of cut you off before.
I do. I have something interesting. For many years now, there has been you guys, Tristan specifically, what was the name of that that British tricycle car that you and all of the other like car weeaboos were obsessed with?
And my dad, the Morgan 3-wheeler.
Morgan 3-wheel, the Morgan.
It's literally
3-wheeler.
The easiest name because it's like, the 3-wheeled Morgan. Yes, the Morgan 3-wheeler.
I couldn't think of Morgan. What if I told you that you could buy that car's gone now, right? They ended it, didn't they?
I don't know.
No idea.
Well, I'm going to pretend they did. That car's gone,
Pretend or
but
hope.
it's fine. Because did you know there is an American company making essentially the same dumb idea, but with modern materials?
So not out of wood?
There are
Correct.
several.
Well, I didn't know about this because I like function. And Meg was out on the town last week, I don't remember, recently, and saw something called a Vanderhall. You seen this? You heard about this?
No, I have not.
They are a company out of Utah. I don't know if this counts as coach building or not. It's just a trike. But they have several models of three-wheeled nonsense. And
here they are, Vanderhall Motorworks.
Yeah, Vanderhall Motorworks. So they have a couple models, and they also have something that actually does kind of look interesting. A not road legal off-roader, a four-wheel thing coming out soon. They have a couple varieties, a couple different engines. They have electric variants. They have the right look. I gotta say, these things look pretty sweet.
The Navarro.
Yeah,
The off-road one.
yeah,
And
I
Venice
think that
Caramel.
Yeah, and the Edison is their electric. Actually,
one.
the Edison sounds like it would kind of be cool. That's their electric version of the three-wheeler. I mean, that might be a hoot.
Yeah, it looks pretty slick, actually.
Yeah,
Twin,
kind of cool.
Twin 52 kilowatt motors. That's not anything to sneeze at.
What do we got? 0 to 60 for Ford. Does not say anything about range.
Yeah,
200 miles. There it is.
Yeah, 200 miles. I mean, with something like this, you're not going to drive cross country. But, I mean, that could be kind of fun, right?
Nice little weekend cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just reminds me of, talking of all these three-wheeled vehicles and then experiencing what I experienced today. Downtown Memphis is a hotspot for three-wheeled vehicles.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah.
All of the whatchamacallits? Those
4 Polaris slingshots.
That's the one.
And almost uncountable numbers of Can-Am Spiders. Motorcycles that are trikes but backwards.
Really?
And just I wasn't going to really talk about it, but because this came up, it was just there were a lot. There were a lot.
Why? Is there like a factory around there?
I have no idea. No idea. I know in Tennessee, a lot of interesting things can be licensed. So it might be that. It might be
what do you mean?
I'm sure it's town by town, but when we're in the Smokies, you can actually road license UTVs and stuff too. So
oh, I see. Okay.
Laws are a little bit lax comparatively speaking, huh? As far as vehicles. I'm just still on this Vanderhall website. The Navarro, their adventure vehicle, as they call it, their off-roader is also electric.
Yeah, it looks really sweet.
It looks really good. This is what the Bronco should have been.
I mean, yeah, essentially a box on wheels.
Yeah.
Well, the styling's a little bit better. It's got the clear panels on the doors.
Yeah.
So you can see the trail.
Yeah. Huh.
It's really just an electric UTV with a body.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I have no problem with any of those things. So
right. That's the place you want.
That's not a downside. That's think about ripping through the national forest upstate with one of these. That'd be dope.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. Anyways, Vanderhall. I didn't know that was a thing.
So listeners, look up Vanderhall Motorworks, or we'll throw some pictures up on our socials to show you what we're talking about. Good find, Andrew. There's actually decent three-wheelers out there. Who knew? Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if they're any.
We don't know if they're any good or not.
The part.
I got one thing real quick, and it's kind of a sobering realization I just came to in the past couple days.
Oh,
we're all doomed.
Well, yeah, but that's
doomed.
not it. So I finally started seeing, and I don't know if you guys had seen them prior to this, but the Genesis GV80 SUV has finally made its way out to Lake Country. And over the past 2-3 weeks, I've seen like maybe 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Had some, and we saw it. Obviously, we sat in it. The last auto show we went to, we stood next to it and all that stuff. But this is the first time seeing it on the road doing what it's intended to do. And each one, when I saw the first one, I thought this, and I'm like, nah, I can't be right. Like, I'll get used to it. And every time I see one, I just can't get it out of my head. My first thought is, looks like a Lincoln. GV80s are a Korean Lincoln,
but
and it doesn't make me excited at all.
I mean, I no longer remember what a Lincoln looks like or when they came out. But
it just reminds me, like, the person driving it, and none of the people driving fit this description, but I automatically think as soon as I see a GV80 now that there should be someone with gray hair driving with a roll of Mentos in the cup holder for their grandchildren.
What's wrong with Mentos, bro?
There's nothing wrong with Mentos. It just fits the description.
You guys remember the cinnamon Mentos? I don't think they make those anymore.
What? No,
I don't remember the cinnamon Mentos.
The fruit ones are good, but I'm just thinking, like, I haven't thought about cinnamon Mentos in 10 years.
Are the fruit Mentos intended to improve the quality of your breath? Or are they just candy?
I think they're just candy.
Does it say the fresh maker on them?
I literally have no idea.
Yeah, because that would be the fruit maker. The juice maker.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
Oh, man. Well, that's completely beside the point. I just got sad when I saw it because we've all been so stoked on Genesis for so long, and I'm just bummed on this new design language, and it looks just the worst on the SUV.
I've had completely the opposite experience, and I've found myself liking the SUVs actually in person, in most colors. I had totally forgotten the Lincoln existed. I mean, maybe like I don't know if like they came in 19 or 20 or 18, whatever. But I do remember there was a time when they looked similar. The original Navigator, I think, is what started.
Mm-hmm.
Looks similar to the GVs, but I don't know. I guess I maybe just completely forgot about Lincoln, so that I never was going to make that comparison again.
Well, you're welcome.
I remember commenting. It was after the last time we went to the Chicago Auto Show. We saw the Lincolns there. We're like, oh, those are really ugly and they look silly because it's too tall for how wide and long it is, right?
Yes. Yeah. They look like a shipping container.
Yep. Yeah, and then they were everywhere. And then I guess the leases ran out because they're nowhere. I haven't seen a Lincoln anywhere in probably a year, almost a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I've seen consistently? A surprising number of, not in the role in which they were intended. The Lincoln MKTs, they were like designed from the ground up to replace the town cars with like a taxi SUV. And it was like specifically designed, not specifically only sold to, but specifically designed with like the taxi market in mind.
Oh yeah.
And like a ton of people just be owning them. Like just like just as this is my normal car,
just be owning it.
It's just like, oh, okay.
They still make it technically.
I don't probably.
Okay, so they made it in 2020, and it's gone for 2021.
The MKT.
Yes, according to this website, FordAuthority.com. Or rather, it's unclear if it will continue past 2020.
It's funny because I searched for MKT and because I accidentally put a dash in it, all I get is a ukulele brand.
Well, all right then.
Whoops.
Well, anyway,
standard reserve, and there's a model line called Town Car, Tristan.
Yeah, and it shares the chassis with the Flex. Andrew.
Hey, shout out to the Ford boy.
Hey, all right.
It's got that same twin turbo EcoBoost. Wow, man, Ford really needs to update their everything.
Yeah, get on that, new Jim.
If we have time for one more thing,
Let's do it.
Nick, I need you to do the rental car jingle.
I can't even remember it. Rental car review.
Yes,
Yep.
Tristan's rental car review this time.
Oh boy.
Because I have been granted the boon of a rental car. Initially, that was not the case, and it was very. For the listeners, I'm on location on a work trip, and previously to the boon of the rental car, I was trapped traveling between my work site and my hotel, and that was it. Very upsetting. So now I have a rental car, and I've been given a the welds were still hot. That came over on a ship. I know it's not true, but the welds were still hot. Kia Rio.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I am actually impressed.
Really?
That sounds very qualified.
Well, I mean, I was considering what I was told it was, and the fact that I was expecting nothing. The fact that I got more than nothing is mind blowing. So first of all, it's got wireless CarPlay.
Okay.
What? Right? So
Subaru's in shambles.
right? Yeah, so wireless CarPlay. And I had to find that out because it was like I had to find that out by unplugging my phone, and it kept working, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And honestly, the best, like from a mechanical, not accessories and doodads perspective, it drives really well. I was thrashing it around the, Mississippi backwoods. I took some time after work to go to a national forest and do some hiking and get some nature in my life. And the driving roads out here are really nice. They're all curvy and oddly well maintained, and it's great. And there's a little sport button on the dash. I was like, what can this do in a Rio? Actually, quite a bit. It's very responsive when the sport mode button is on, and the suspension is surprisingly well tuned. I hit a big bump at the apex of a downhill into uphill corner, and in a lot of cars that will just bounce you into the left hand lane. Soaked it up like a champ. The guy in the truck that was coming the other way was probably pretty sure I was going to hit him, and I didn't. It just stayed right in the lane, and it's like, this drives really well. I want like a Rio N. Super small, super. Let's go. It'd be kind of like the Polo GTI in Europe, where it's like the GTI of the budget car.
Well, I'm just trying to remember. Is that actually related to the i20?
I don't know. I was going to ask you that, but I never got around to it before we started recording.
I'm just looking it up now.
So for folks who are maybe not familiar, this is Kia's tiniest little subcompact.
Yes,
4-cylinder.
It is related to the i20.
Related to the i20, 4-cylinder, 120 horsepower, starts at $16,000 new. But Tristan, you're not the only one who seems to like it. I'm seeing Car and Driver gave it a 9 out of 10. Motor Trend 8 out of 10. U.S. News and World Report also gave it an 8 out of 10. So people like the little bugger.
Like, it's by no means perfect, and it is certainly based, especially on that price point. It's not a luxury car. It's manual everything, power nothing except windows, and chintzy cloth seats and kind of cheap plastic on the dashboard. But by no means the worst cheap plastic I've ever seen, and it just drives well.
Sorry, I was just looking at
surprising.
The Kia the i20N, the Hyundai version of the Kia version, whatever. They put the full fat of the 1.6 liter that's in my car, that 201 horsepower engine.
That would be exciting in this car. It's so small.
That would be a hoot. That would be a kick in the ass. I would love to drive that.
Yeah, honestly, if you're looking for, the only flat out negative, not just it's not great, but it's what I expect in the segment, is the gas tank must have been a peanut. Like I drove an hour and I used half a tank of gas.
Oh,
Like, even in spirited driving, it shouldn't be, and it wasn't all spirited driving. A lot of it was just cruising along on like 55 mile an hour, like county highways, and it was like, oh, this is a very small gas tank. So maybe not a great road trip car, but if you need like a city car, commuter car, that it was surprisingly fabulous.
So to put that in perspective, you use about a half a gallon of tank in an hour when it has an average of 36 miles per gallon.
Yeah, it was an actual peanut.
So it must be like a 5 gallon.
Yeah,
that's
small.
crazy.
So maybe it was just sitting funny when it was parked and it was adjusting over time. I don't know, but it was just. I was like, I got as a rental car, and the guy's like, okay, it'll be the Kia Rio over there, and I was like, well, at least I have a rental car. But I'm actually enthused by it. So,
well, that's good. Something to look forward to at the end of your days down there.
Yes.
Before we move on, so something that you mentioned Jim Farley, and I'm just. I just
Jim.
All these gyms, man. I don't know if you guys saw it. If you follow us on Twitter at Check Engine Pod, I retweeted an automotive news story about Jim Farley giving an interview about the chip shortage, where he said he was shocked. He was shocked at the fact that there was a chip shortage, and this is something I've been trying to figure out for a little while, because I think it's kind of interesting. Tristan and I, we both work in tech. So we have dealt with essentially the full disappearance of consumer electronics for a calendar year plus.
Yes.
It's about 18 months of low availability.
Yeah, the stuff that I'm buying is starting to recover in the last couple months, but that's because Apple has priority contracts with everybody. Even before then, so it's been a couple months, a calendar year, it's been like, hey, buy an iPad. I dare you.
Yeah. No, it's been really, really bad. And so this is kind of an area of interest for me. I feel that obviously now that the chip shortage is hitting the auto industry, what that says to me is that previous to now, there was probably not like a written agreement with chip manufacturers that the auto industry gets priority. I just think that it so happens that the people who make chips for cars, which would be, for reference, chips in cars are not just, ECUs. It's also anything with an LED. It's any screen. It's any electronically controlled system of any kind, including Windows. Like auto up and down windows can be chip controlled. It's any battery. It's any hybrid system. It's everything. It's every single thing on a car now. And the fact that only after the rest of the delays are clearing up are we starting to see it impact the auto industry tells me that there's something going on in the manufacturing there where goddamn Jim Farley should have known that there will be a chip shortage. He had more than enough warning, more than at least a year and a half of seeing everything else disappear off the market. Buy a PS5 right now. Go out and buy a PS5. Maybe you can find one. I'll bet you can't. It's not just artificial scarcity.
No, it's affecting. Tristan and I work for a power tool company that uses very similar
PCBs and everything.
Similar chips, and it's everything. It's PS5s, it's cars shutting down plants, it's our company having a tough time getting their supplies for the tools that they sell. Like it's crazy.
And then
lithium batteries, controller chips.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and those are their own thing. So I'm super interested. Maybe this is a subject to talk about on a different podcast or something, but I find the whole thing very interesting from like the manufacturing going up to the fact that, the Biden administration's trying to put money towards this specifically to prop up or continue to support the auto industry. And they're just throwing like a small handful of change on the ground. And even though the amount they're talking about is $40 billion, right? Mm-hmm. It sounds like a lot. It doesn't even touch the price of a modern top tier fabrication, which are literally hundreds of billions of dollars to create the actual fabrication plants themselves. And there is zero guarantee, even with the fact that the product coming out of them will be of the very highest quality. It will be the bleeding edge of the bleeding edge technology. There's no guarantee over the life cycle of that plant, 20 years, 50 years, it will ever make back the money that was spent to build it. That's how much these things cost. That's how far behind the auto industry is right now. There are no automotive manufacturers who own fabrications, Tristan, that are more modern than FinFET, which was like 10 years ago. FinFET was a massive change in how individual chips are created, right? It was essentially moving a piece of the... Anyway, it doesn't matter going into it now. It was a major change that completely altered the landscape of technology. And in terms of, how fast things could go inside of a specific size. Because when you're manufacturing at small distances in nanometers, there's only so much room for an instrument to actually create what it's trying to fabricate.
Right.
So FinFET advanced all technology, and that's kind of what led us into being able to put full camera radar systems in cars when before it took up the nose cone of a plane. Essentially, that's what we're talking about, right? That's the kind of structure. In our lifetimes, radar was massive, and now it
can be quite small.
Yeah, it's like a long postcard. You can see the radar array in cars that have it. It's a long postcard. So there are no car companies who can do that for themselves. And for them to be surprised that there's a shortage in something they weren't making for themselves, and be unable at this point, from my view, to catch up quickly you don't want your CEO to be surprised at that. He should know.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
Even if you've chosen to not deal with it, it shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
I know that, but we're not going to handle that right now. Versus oh, what?
Oh, you can't be shocked by it. That's not your place to be shocked by that.
Right. Even if he was shocked, don't say it in an interview.
Yeah, I don't know.
Keep that one closer to the vest.
I do think it's something to watch, and you really that's all you can do. All you can do is watch and see what happens, because so that's the background of the automotive side. Of course, further behind that are what seem to be bi-weekly or at least monthly press releases from some state saying they're going to ban in ICE cars in 7 years. No, you're not. But I appreciate the hustle. You know what I mean? All of those cars that they want, all EVs, all hybrids, require massive amounts of chips in way higher amounts than normal cars, because every battery cell, all the systems. I mean, it's just... Well, sorry, buddy.
And once they finally get the chip thing figured out, if it ever, however long that takes to get back to, level set as far as production goes,
it's got to then go beyond that.
It's got to then go beyond that, and then you need the infrastructure to do it.
Exactly.
So you're telling me that, okay, in the next 7 years, you're going to build, I'll throw a number out there, like 2,000 more electrical charging stations?
Every station. I wonder what the chip arrays are in those.
They're doing it it's good PR. Like, they're saying, hey, we're on the leading edge, or we're trying to be on the leading edge of this this energy conservation, and we're going green and all this kind of stuff. And it's great, cool, again, like what you said, Andrew, appreciate the hustle, but none of what you said is even remotely feasible unless you're sitting on a pile of cash and or a pile of chips that you're not telling anybody about.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those big salt domes that we have up here in Wisconsin is actually filled with chips, and they're not telling anybody.
Great. or just liquid cash.
Or liquid cash.
Doubloons, as you said a couple of weeks ago.
It's doubloons.
Yeah. I have actually pitched an article about this to a couple places, but I think the difficulty in it is that it's really technical. So for us to even talk about this means we're essentially not doing a car podcast anymore. We're doing a technology podcast.
Right.
But that's the only way to approach it. It's not that interesting to talk about fabricating processes and the kind of factory that needs to make a chip of this, size. But that's where we are in car culture right now. That's what car culture is. This comes along with it. This is the trailer attached to it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not just how many million square feet of, rolled steel can you make? How many, it's microchips now. So.
Yep. I do think it's going to be interesting. So as a side note, one last thing, to see the difference between the way real brands, for lack of a better term, Ford, GM, Hyundai, Toyota, handle their chip shortage versus Tesla, who has insisted for the longest time that they control everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that desire could end up putting them massively behind a company who doesn't have an obligation to pretend they do everything themselves and can contract these parts out. You know what I mean?
Well, and Tesla was having trouble delivering on time
already
pre chip shortage. So
eternally.
Yeah. Since they were founded.
Mm-hmm.
Since the building opened, they couldn't deliver on time, and now
it's and they don't control everything either. I mean, their batteries aren't even really made by them.
No, they're Panasonic, right?
Yeah, they're a joint venture with Panasonic, so they don't control everything. How about that?
Well, they never have. Anyways, I think if I was to make a prediction, get ready to see base models come back.
All manual, everything.
Not even that.
Who announced they were going back to a manual dashboard? Was that someone over in Europe? Was that Peugeot that said they're going back to all analog or manual dashboards?
That's actually really smart.
Right now?
Yeah. I mean, but not just in that term. I meant cars on lots now are sitting there with the blind spot detection, with the front auto brake, all these things are coming on every model. It won't stay that way. If there isn't a solution that involves genuinely building a bunch of fabrication centers across the face of the earth, it's not staying that way at all.
So whose stock can we invest in to get in front of this?
Honestly, if you want a to the moon stock pick that's already expensive, NVIDIA
and TSMC.
TSMC is huge.
Yeah.
Intel,
maybe
they are the only company they are the only US company who even has the remote chance of a capability of manufacturing at 10 and 7 millimeter, and their 7 millimeter yields, which is that is the process, man. There is not a finer process, and that's what all of these projections about
for cars,
for self-driving cars rely on 7 nanometer because it's so fast, it's so powerful, and it's so small. They're not, and it's Intel, right? We're talking about the company. Their yields are so low at 7. They're not even opening up a plant in the US for another 4 years, or trying to do it anywhere in the world for another 3. They're the guys, and they can't do this.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, that's enough. That's probably enough rambling.
We're not a stock and bond or a technology podcast. We're a car podcast.
But I genuinely feel most of that related to cars pretty well. So
yeah. I think it was. That was a very good discussion. But we do have other things to talk about, and we're going to get into that. But real quick, we're going to remind you, if you want to join this discussion, we have some spots where you can get a hold of us. So you can find us on all the social media channels. You can find us on Facebook by looking up Check Engine Podcast. Andrew, you already mentioned it once, but remind the listeners where they can find us on Twitter.
At Check Engine Pod.
And Tristan, where can they find us on Instagram?
Also at Check Engine Pod.
So be sure to like, follow, share, post, direct message. Just reach out how and when you can. You can ask us questions to answer on the air. You can give us topic ideas. You can give us your opinions, what you like or dislike about the stuff that we're talking about. Anything that you fancy, just reach out and talk to us. We look forward to it. Thank you in advance. Now, back to this, I guess we'll call it brand synergy or cross promotion idea. Andrew, you want to kind of kick this off?
I do, because this is what started it for me. I was talking with my dad about trucks, because I mean, my dad was helping me build stuff at the house, and he's a really handy guy. So he's always doing something, right, with full sheets of drywall and plywood and boards and stuff like that. I was like, how is it that you've gone this far and never owned a pickup truck? And he's like, well, maybe, I don't know. He likes them in concept, but it's just that I think he might be a little stuck in the mentality of like trucks are very like they used to be in like the 80s and the 90s, where they aren't really that comfortable, they aren't that practical, they aren't that efficient, and it's kind of different now. So I was like talking to him about the Ram, and he's like, yeah, I really like the the side thing, whatever they're called, the Ram box.
The Ram box, yeah.
I really like the Ram box. And he was like, but I looked at it once and I just wasn't that thrilled with the lining. And it's just, if they had the liners like the snap-on drawers, and it hit me, and I was like, wait, holy shit. Throughout the entire history of trucks, there has never been a truck collab with a tool like a hand tool company. Why is there not a snap-on Ram? Why is there not a Craftsman F-150? What are we doing here? Like, it could be the bed liner, the inside of the Ram box or whatever. Get a bag of tools, get like the logo in the headrests and stuff like that. Like, why would you not do that, considering all of the other things you do with trucks and like a King Ranch edition or whatever? Who cares about that? Why wouldn't it be I guess like a horse supply company or like a horse tool company? Is that a thing? I don't know.
What is it? CAL Ranch, I think, or Tractor Supply Company.
Yeah, like what? Why is this not a thing? Is that weird to anyone else?
It's very weird, and you actually stole my thunder on one of mine. So, I'm going to go ahead and just go next here, because I think, Andrew, we can just kind of present this together now.
Mine's not related at all.
We're co-presenting this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it one step further, Andrew. And if you go to the fleet side of it, how many electricians, plumbers, datacom are using Ford Transits?
Definitely. Ooh.
Now there is the company we work for is probably the leader in it, but there's also other tool companies that are making stackable racking systems with mounting plates for floors and for shelves. So why not do a power tool collab with Ford Transit, where they actually have on the configurator, you can go in and like enter your trade. Hey, I'm an electrician or whatever it is. And now you can actually deck out the inside with the racking and the tools you need based on your job. And then you purchase it all at once, and it comes vehicle, tools, the racking system, the whole bit.
That actually seems like a really smart idea. I mean,
even if you didn't want to reinvest, like, let's say you already have a lot of that stuff, but like, Nick, you've got a lot of power tool fans, which is not something I knew until I started working for a power tool company.
How many tattoos you see with our logo? Jesus.
Yeah, well, and other people's too. Like, it's not just
it's crazy.
Like in the technology area, which is what I was in before, and kind of currently, like, you see a lot of Apple tattoos. You don't see a lot of like Intel tattoos or like that kind of thing. So it's like, but it's not just right. It's not just the company. That would be a dope tattoo, a Corsair tattoo. Anyway, it's like not just the company that we work for, but like other companies have people who are like just as fanatical about them. And like, think about if you could get a truck that was like officially partnered with your power tool brand, and you'd get some kind of cool tie-in, like like what Ford has the whole system right now where like it has the generator option. Mm-hmm. But like let's say you get the the brand of tool of your choice, and in the bed is a integrated charger. Like not just plug it in, like it's just sitting there. Slam your tool batteries in the bed, and it's color matched. The name is stitched into the headrests. Like you already got all your tools. You don't need to like rebundle your tools in your racking. But even just like, yeah, I got a truck that matches my tools. Like so many people would be into that.
It's
totally
crazy,
think so.
Andrew. It's unreal. Like until I started working for the company, I was the same way. I had no idea. Like you've got like the Miller Bud beer brand rivalry, like Miller Lite or Bud Light, or you've got
Ford GM in Australia,
Ford GM, or all these like where they hate each other, Yankees, Red Sox, and then it's Milwaukee Tool and DeWalt. There's like they're at each other. So it's like wow, it's crazy.
Yeah, my dad has like an allegiance to DeWalt, and that's weird. But yet he like bought all Ryobi tools for some reason. I don't know what happened there, but everything else he buys, like his actual hand tools and stuff, it's all DeWalt. All the bits he buys are DeWalt. Best bits. Can't do better than that. It's like, I mean, all right, okay, I guess, but I don't know. I don't understand that part of it, but it really seems like a big chunk of the market that's missing. Even if it was only something like a Craftsman or Snap-on like grip lined bed and box, or like the under seat well things, those little foot compartments. That seems like something that would be kind of obvious for what would probably be at that level like a modest upcharge.
Yeah,
I think it makes a whole lot of sense, whether you're in the more weekend warrior with a pickup truck that comes with the charger and the stitching, or if you're a company and you've got like 3 or 4 service vans you've got to outfit, it can go that level as well.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, I think.
I don't understand why it hasn't happened. Exactly. I don't understand why it hasn't happened. That's a really good one to kick it off. So
yeah, you too. Hey.
hey.
Great minds, Andrew. Great minds.
Right. And then he's here too.
And then Tristan with his deep thoughts. What do you got?
We got.
Oh no, mine is the one to start with, because I don't want to be too impressive too quickly. Is the really Tristan's really obvious thoughts, TM, is why has there this is just blindingly obvious. It's not like I'd like this or it should happen because think of all these reasons. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. My mind is boggled that this has not already happened. REI edition Subarus.
Yeah.
They already live there.
Definitely.
The REI is already a Subaru dealer parking lot anyway.
Right.
Like, why has that not happened? Like, you buy the REI edition, you get it stitched into the headrests, you get, when you buy the car, you're given an REI co-op membership, like, the whole deal. Like, it comes in, like, one of the options for that model is the paint, is that the green REI logo paint. All sorts of things you could do with this. And I just don't, my brain almost can't believe that this isn't already a thing.
I'm just looking here. I googled Subaru Special Edition REI, and one of the first results was Subaru on the road to REI. So they're driving to REI as part of the Subaru brand thing.
Mm-hmm. Subaru road trip at REI. Yep. So they're already partnered with it.
Yeah, but they don't have any. Okay.
That's what I mean. Like, they are, like, I don't understand how this hasn't already happened.
It's literally Subaru.com/REI.
Yeah, and if if you are a Subaru owner and a REI member, you can go to like these meetups at various REIs in various towns and like get free swag. Like there was one in Madison, I think, that I didn't go to, but I thought about it. And they already have this partnership. Just release the special edition already. Like they could have. I know you want maybe like a longer term thing where you're not tied to, another brand for a major trim release of your car. But like the new Wilderness Edition Outbacks and Foresters, like release those in an REI special edition. Like it would have been a great time to pair those two releases.
Here's my silver platter. Why can't you? It's served up. Why can't either company make a move and go for this.
It's right there. Here's
It
the
is
serving fork.
literally
Like-
in front of your face.
Yeah, no, sorry. The second thing that came up was a customized Subaru Forester from, I guess, the Singapore Auto Show last year. It doesn't have anything to do with the REI. I don't know why it came up, but it was named, I don't know how we missed this, the Subaru Fucks.
I think I mentioned that.
Did you?
Yeah, I think-
F-U-C-K-S.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
Yes,
God.
that made an appearance on this show.
Fuchs?
My God.
Fuchs?
Anyways, yeah, I guess the main thing of getting a REI brand Subaru, you'd have to get the tent too.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have to
Yes.
come and a luggage rack on the top.
Yeah, probably have to have that. Yep.
So,
Stickers pre-applied to the rear window.
yes.
Definitely.
In the configurator, what national parks have you been to? We will ship your car with that sticker on the window.
Yeah.
That's pretty
right?
cool, actually.
That would be pretty dope.
I can't talk at all. Mine has Yay Adventure on the back window, so
Yeah, no, it does.
So, Tristan, does REI have like house brand stuff that they sell? Like you can buy an REI branded tent. So like,
they do. Yep.
yeah, Jesus Christ, get all the REI branded house brand camping gear in there.
REI Co-op.
Oh, it'll be
It's just crazy. This is irresponsible.
Exactly. I spent way too long looking for something that I missed. Like, I was like, it popped into my head like as soon as you mentioned it the other day. I was in the middle of working, like I could barely check my phone. The notification came through on my watch, and I was like, yes, this. And then I spent the whole night when I got back, like, looking for places this had already happened. And I was just like, how has this not?
A totally random note that kind of that relates to this, but also doesn't, Tristan. We talked about the chip shortage. There's also an extreme shortage on one other thing that I was looking for. There is an unbelievable shortage of car tents. You
Really?
can't buy them anywhere.
Are they sold out?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, this might be a fun wedding gift for Tristan. I was like, oh,
well,
maybe this would be interesting.
the
And they're
shortage,
just gone.
The shortage saved you from yourself.
Do you already
I
have one?
of those already.
of course it
Good.
does.
Of course,
not a rooftop, which
Oh
we
no, those
didn't-
are way too expensive. I don't love you that much.
which are too expensive, and also, how do you get the dogs in them?
Stairs,
Train them to use ladders.
travel stairs.
But yeah,
Lift with the
so-
legs, man.
No, we've got one that actually goes on the back of the Outback,
Yeah,
and
the
it has
car ass
like
one.
yeah, and then it has like a whole tent, and then the tent has a screen room. So we have like 3 rooms. We use the car as a bedroom. We use the main tent area as like a living area. We put like our table and our cooler and lights and stuff in there. So when it gets dark and buggy, we can, sit in that instead. And then we use the like screen room has like roll up privacy panels. They don't make it waterproof, but it like you just can't see through it. We use that to like, change, and we use it as when we're super remote. We use it as a place where we put our portable toilet, that kind of thing. So
Nice. Yeah, they're just gone. I wonder if regular tents are too. I don't know. I hate camping.
I know a lot of RV stuff and camping, and a lot of it's sold out because people are like, "Oh, I can't go inside. Go somewhere else then. Where else you have? Outside.
What else you got?
Outside it is." Yeah.
All right. Well, here's my next one, and it's one that kind of bothers me simply because it would be like a moving opportunity. It's essentially a target for a different brand to hit every few years.
Okay.
So every league now has an official, not car, because they usually have an official truck, an official car,
Official
official
vehicle.
Yeah, official vehicle. That's sometimes their official whatever. And this was something that first hit me when Kia was trying to sell was it the K900? Is that what it was?
The luxury one.
Their ultra luxury one that was like the official car of the NBA All-Star game. And also the
Very
finals.
particular.
Yeah, well, it's also game and also the finals because that was LeBron James won one.
Mhm.
It was the year that he won Finals MVP.
Was that the one that Blake Griffin jumped over in the dunk contest?
It was. Yes. All right. So, anyways, clearly they had a ton of integration with it. Why was there not an NBA version of that car available on sale? Why could you not get, or for the Super Bowl, something like that? Why can you not get an NFL edition truck? It'd be like a low volume, again, lightly customized emblems here. Maybe you get the option if you buy one to get your favorite team, something like that. But even if it's just the league, like why is there not that matching edition if they're going to be sponsoring and they're paying all this money to these leagues to be running essentially the first 5-second commercial shot before the actual commercials? You know what I mean? That's essentially what they're paying for, because no one sees the car ceremony anymore. Like it's not like driven out onto the field anymore. They just get one later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's so. It's my turn to host synergy here, because I actually had the same exact thing. I was like, leagues and things like that have an official vehicle, and for whatever reason, just because that's how my brain works when I'm sorting through this kind of thing. Like I remember for years when we were at the auto show, Audi always had at their booth with all the literally it's just like stickers put on it, because it was one of the vehicles that was given to the US ski and snowboard team, and they were like the official sponsor vehicle of the US ski and snowboard team, and that's been taken over by Land Rover since then. But why is there not a ski and snowboard team edition with that logo? It comes in a unique white color or something, and there's tons of options with that. And like you said, you could have it colored after your team. This would be colored specifically to resemble snow or something. I don't know, but that was where my brain started with it. But then I just generalized leagues and events and things that have the official vehicle of whatever, but are they though? Because where's the official? It doesn't go the other way. They're the official car of the NFL, but then there's no official NFL car of that brand.
Yeah.
They pay the NFL exorbitant, or whatever league, exorbitant amounts of money to say that, and that's as far as it goes.
Yeah,
there's no actual integration with it at all. Is Toyota, which is weird? I think Toyota sponsors the U.S. Olympic team.
Possibly, that might be.
Could there be a red, white, and blue edition Camry or something like that?
That would be tight. Actually, that would be really sweet.
Olympic edition.
I know
Camry?
That one's a little more complicated because when it comes to Olympic teams, a lot of them have, or some of them, I should say, specifically cycling. I'm thinking of all of the cycling teams that those athletes come from have car sponsors,
because
usually as
vehicle.
Primary. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I
usually
saw
BMW.
I saw a Volvo one the other day, a Volvo wagon with it's a very light livery, right? It's literally like a pinstripe, and part of the car is blue, and then it was I forget the name of the cycling team. It was an official cycling chase car. I was like, I'll bet people would buy that. That looks sick. It looked so awesome, just because it was so simple and really low key. I feel like that would be something that people would buy.
I would agree totally. That is weird. And I can't believe that's not something I didn't think of before. Why isn't there any more in-depth partnership there besides just, hey, say these words on the leads coming back from commercial breaks?
Right.
Well, I mean, and Nick, you brought up the Olympic sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
I just was quick search around, and there's teamusa.org/sponsors, and Toyota is. It's funny because they have international sponsors of Team USA, including Alibaba Group. Okay, but Toyota is one of the international sponsors, and there's a whole bunch of domestic sponsors of US companies, and then you go to the licensee section where where you can buy official things
Mhm.
that are licensed for Team USA, and like none of them are the same. like Nike, the things that make clothes, like Nike, Oakley, they are sponsors and also licensed to sell like Olympic gear, but like and Ralph Lauren and stuff like that, but like because they always make the opening ceremony gear, but
Mhm.
like you know there's sponsors and there's licensees and there's almost no overlap except clothes.
Huh.
Like
I
why?
wonder why.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. What year did the Cavs win the championship?
That would be a Nick question.
17 or 18? Well,
16.
16.
I was just thinking.
'Cause it was in between the Golden State run. So
yes, yeah, you're right.
so yeah, 17 probably.
Official NBA car 2016. That was the Kia Optima. All right. You're someone who lives in Cleveland. The Cavs have never won a championship. LeBron comes back, wins a championship, gets a Kia. You can't tell me that there weren't dealerships in Cleveland putting together like their own little Cavs pack to try to sell some of these cars.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a fan of a team your whole life, they've never won anything, they win something, and you would have the opportunity to own just even the tiniest piece of that, whether it's just like an NBA logo in your car. Oh, this is the car they gave to the winner of the MVP or you know what I mean? Like, that has to be something people would go for. I would go for that.
Yeah.
If they did a Buffalo Bills, if they won the championship, the Buffalo Bills F-150, something dumb like that, I probably would have to consider it. Rest in peace, Rex Ryan's career.
The Rex Ryan Memorial F-150.
But
that's right.
But even the color palette for the Cavs. What if they had that Cavalier maroon as an option for a Kia Optima? Maybe with like, what are their other colors? Like a dark blue and gold. Like maybe that's the stitching on the inside, or like a pinstriping down the side. Like,
yeah, that'd be sick.
That'd be so cool.
They've had colors like that at times too. But like, there's got to be something that could be done to make this. I feel like people would definitely pay for that. People love sports more than almost anything. They love sports and they love cars. And the people who love both would definitely find a way to make something like that happen.
And there seems to be a lot of crossover between the folks who love cars and who love sports.
True.
Otherwise, you wouldn't see as many car ads at sporting events.
Oh, God.
Right?
Yeah.
So, that's a good one, both of you. Well done. So is it around to me now for my second one?
Yep.
All right. So for this one, I tried to think of, like, this goes more towards super luxurious, very opulent. This is kind of the theme on this one, and I'm like, does Rolls?
Opulence.
I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you couldn't resist.
I hesitate.
I was watching your face the whole time.
I'm too tired to hold myself back.
Anyways,
move on without me.
I started thinking, has Rolls-Royce done any cross branding, and do they need to? And I thought, okay, so you think Rolls-Royce is pretty much top of top, coach built, pretty much everything custom how you want it. And then what other brands do you think of, like, just top of the heap when it comes to like best luxurious status symbol type thing? And I'm like,
you are going to say Rolls-Royce
and
Rolex.
Yep. Absolutely. A Rolls-Royce Rolex collaboration where I'm just thinking, like, man, if everything is so coach built, you could take the leather that makes up the interior of the vehicle and like cut from that same cloth could make the band of your watch. And, Rolex still has the circular clock face on the dash. So maybe you get two matching, like identical. The timepiece on the band is also the exact same as the face that goes into the dashboard. So it's a Rolex in the dash. If you really want to get crazy, what if you can remove it from the dash and stick it on your watch?
I mean, that's
So roly roller.
Yes. I mean, this makes all the sense in the
Doesn't
world.
it make like, because people who buy Rolls Royces obviously have enough money for at least a few Rolexes too.
Are you sure it's not already a secret option, like ordering off the secret menu?
Animal style Rolls Royce.
They don't.
Are you sure you can't get a Submariner in your Rolls Royce dash?
Well, okay, so
someone will do it for you. I don't know if Rolls Royce will.
The best I could do on this is like in-depth Google searching. I do not have enough money to be invited to Rolls Royce's secret menu, Andrew. So
I don't think any of us do.
I have no idea how we validate that. So if someone listening has a shit ton of money and got a Rolls Royce with a matching Rolex, reach out to the show. We mentioned earlier how to do it. Let us know.
Dan, you've really kept it under wraps.
Yeah.
Well, it's
nice job also.
It's funny, Nick, because actually I went with Rolls Royce also, because something that came to mind for me when I went luxury brand, because I'm so into luxury stuff. That's sarcasm. The one of the only things that appears to me in my mind is all the stuff that Apple sells, the Hermes leather stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I was like, oh, an Hermes leather interior Rolls Royce, that'd be a great special. It already exists. Never mind.
That's the thing.
Never mind.
How is this not a thing? It's so bizarre.
I didn't choose that, but yes, the secret menu. I'm surprised it's not more obvious. You can usually, even if it's on the secret menu, you can usually find it like a news article about it or a for sale auction thing.
Yep.
Yeah, DuPont registry or something like that.
But nothing for a Rolls Royce Rolex.
That I was able to find. Plus, you can say Rolls Rolex.
Roller.
I'm just picturing
Rolex Royce.
I'm just picturing a Rolex with the fiber optic light points in the face that you can get in like the night ceiling of the rollers now.
Oh yeah.
God, that people would be sick. Diamonds? Who cares about diamonds? You got fiber optics in this shit?
Lights in my watch.
Oh, that's sick.
Had to come up with a suitably Rolls Royce, a Rolex name for that model that comes in the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the night sky.
Oh man, they really should do this. That's such a good idea.
Well, and then like on the flip side, Rolex could, make editions of the watches too, like timepieces.
Timepiece.
The Phantom edition or the Ghost edition. Because timepieces. Rolls does have some pretty cool car names. Cullinan not so much, but Phantom and Ghost, Wraith.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I was just confirming. Rolex is actually a UK company. Yeah, what are they doing? Just how far away can you really be? 20 minutes?
You're on an island.
That's right.
it's got to be right there. It's right up the street.
You guys have never met?
Around the corner, guy. Come on. Someone walk over there and shake a hand. Make a meeting. Let's go.
Yeah. Is it me again?
Back to you.
This is me again. All right. So this is a personal one that has bothered me for many years. And I feel like it's just something that's never going to happen, even though it seems like it would be easiest thing in the world, because both of these brands are in fact just one brand. Why has there never been a CBR edition Honda Fit or Civic? It's the same company. All you'd have to do is give it some more like sporty looks, right? It wouldn't necessarily have to be even in the SI range of performance. It could just be a little flash. It could be a little like more aggressive street look. And if you did want to give it more power, I think that would be very generous, but I don't think it's strictly speaking necessary. But CBRs are like, depending on the moment, the bike that leads sport bike trends most of the time in terms of power, in terms of features, in terms of availability. That's just like the reference point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So why can't the Fit get some of that love?
I don't know. Maybe because when you think of a Fit, you don't necessarily think of sport.
But
And
Nick, the
performance.
Fit is go.
Beep boop. But no, you are correct. But why not? Why couldn't you have an edition? I mean, well, we just got done talking about the i20N, right? What if it's, and again, it wouldn't necessarily have to be. Honda doesn't love giving more horsepower to stuff, but this wouldn't necessarily have to be that. It could just be essentially like they used to do in the old days, a small car targeted towards the youth who would also be looking at the bikes. You know what I mean? There's that high school, early college range of kids who may actually be looking to buy a car with money, and they also have a CBR. That's something that would be popular for like a, not like necessarily cars and coffee specific, but like a car meetup type thing. Like, hey, this is my Fit. The paint scheme, whether it's stripes or whether it's paint splashes or tribal, CBR was doing tribal for a while. Why couldn't you see that on your Fit as well, your CBR edition Fit or whatever it is? You know what I mean?
Full Repsol replica Fit.
Dude, that
With the
would
orange
be
rims?
awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so amazing. Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
That's.
I'll bet you those guys work in the same building.
I could see Honda doing it. I would just argue that if they're going to do it, it's going to be on at least like minimum on an SI.
I think you're probably
Which
right.
is fine.
Which is fine. Like, I don't think it's going to happen with the Fit if they were to do it. But I think
I'm not mad at a Repsol replica Type R that's has even more horsepower and even bigger wings. Like, I'm not mad at that at all. I just think they probably wouldn't at this point. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think everything you say makes sense and it should happen. Yeah, my only contention there is it's probably not going to be with a Fit. Although it would be really cool to see a.
You know
really,
what? Do it on a Ridgeline. Put the bike in the back.
There,
For all the promo material.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
With you can strap it down back there.
Now,
Yes.
that would look awesome in orange.
Have it be an option, not required, because then you wouldn't probably sell very many. Have be an option to buy the two at the same time and have like serial numbers that matched and your paint matched between the two, whatever you chose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah,
come on. That would be that's just like the height of cool. No one would ever say anything about a front wheel drive truck to you again.
Yeah, screw you. I got this in the back.
That's right.
That's awesome. That's a good one too. Why it's becoming more and more frustrating the further down we go in this episode. Like, why hasn't this shit happened yet? What are people
that's the
waiting
same
for?
company. That's probably like the whatever. It's the same guy.
Go down 2 offices and talk to that guy over there.
Just go down the hall. It's closer than Rolex and Rolls Royce.
Yeah, and they're really close.
And they're super close. They're neighbors. Who's
me next?
Who's next?
I think it's me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Why not? So here's one that is partially a suggestion, but partially I want you guys to weigh in on where you think it would fit, because I feel like I have an excellent branding partner and some ideas for what car it should go in, but I'm not certain, and you guys might have better ones.
Okay.
So, Nintendo.
Yep, heard it.
Paired with probably, being another Japanese company like the Honda Odyssey.
Okay.
Because you could have like pre-built switches in the back seat for the kiddos and all that kind of stuff.
Or even better, because the whole point of the Switch is it's portable, but docks. Take it, snap the Switch into the headset, and it charges it and everything else into the headrest, and it charges it. You could have the option to again, like the motorcycle, oh, my kids don't have them yet. Well, here you go. We'll bundle them with your car purchase as an accessory. Like Subaru is selling iPads as like as a factory accessory. Like,
Yeah.
Financed a couple of Switches for your kids with your car.
There are no rules anymore.
Yeah. So like, okay, they don't have them, but here you go. And like, I was thinking it would be like Nintendo overall. And because I was playing on like the nostalgia of parents that are going to be like our age, Andrew, like you could choose how you wanted it themed. It would be like the Nintendo fill in the blank edition. So, Mario, Luigi, NES, SNES, you'd have various color options that would remain hopefully subtle. So you could be like that. I think Toyota, because I think they use it on the Tacomas and the 4Runner stuff, has that gray.
Yeah,
that kind of fits a Nintendo console gray.
Mhm.
So like do like a gray with purple accents for NES, black and red for SNES, black and red accents for NES, that kind of thing. Or like make the mirrors the two colors of the Switch Joy-Cons if you want the Switch edition. Like I think there are a lot of things you could make this into, like even a whole family of special editions. But that was my brain just taking that and just going nuts. So
Yoshi Green.
Yeah, Yoshi Green, Mario.
You have a Toad edition with the red spots on white.
Well, what I was thinking is actually for
roof.
the Mario edition, as stupid as it sounds, my brain actually came up with a really good Mario and Luigi edition, like a super dark denim blue with a red or green roof and a black grill, and a black grill on the Mario edition for the and the Luigi edition for the mustache. Yeah. Like it wouldn't even necessarily like look all that wild or like scream Nintendo, but like you get the badges in the right place and the Switch integration and everything.
I'm just thinking about like even that on oh crap, what's that little Toyota SUV that has the white roof? Is it the CHR?
Does it have the white roof? Well, that was the Nissans that did.
I think it's both now.
Probably.
Yeah, they're both two-tone.
Yep, the CHR. Yep.
I was gonna say, it doesn't have to be minivans. Like, what's the large SUV that could probably have screens in the back? The third row SUV,
right? Or big SUV. Yep.
Was it Pilot?
Sequoia.
Sequoia
Pilot. Toyota Sequoia.
Mm-hmm.
Nissan Armada.
Well, Nissan's going with Sony because of the Gran Turismo thing.
That's true. They would not. They would not partner with Nintendo.
They would not partner.
Although
with Nintendo.
I will say though, Nissan probably has the most special editions of any of the brands. So they've done Star Wars special editions.
Yep, they have.
They've done Fender special editions.
Yes, they have.
They've done,
as did Volkswagen.
And Volkswagen also did Beats.
Yes, Fender and Beats.
Yeah, Nissan. I mean, you could get a Pikachu edition Micra. That seems like something that would be logical.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Would be funny.
Yeah, maybe it is Nissan low key. Oh, right, because the Star Wars was the Rogue edition. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That would at least be. They would at least be the most likely to agree.
Yes, true. I'm not mad at that.
I could see that happening.
That developed an entire special edition ecosystem in my brain as I was mindlessly doing repetitive work the other day. It just kept spinning off into new things. So,
and that's where the thoughts got deeper.
Yes, that is where the deep thoughts come in.
TM.
So, yeah.
I wonder if you could use a special edition to provoke any interest in the Nissan GTR.
You'd have I was thinking maybe not in this country, but I think it would be like, what is their really popular Nissan SUV? Is it the Patrol in other countries?
Like the big one that people actually buy overseas, but not necessarily here? The Armada?
No, it's called something else overseas.
Yeah, it's the Patrol is it's the Armada here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yep. But I was just thinking because I was looking for like their biggest one. So like, the Armada here the patrol overseas, like do dueling special editions tied in with the new Godzilla King Kong movie.
Yeah, there you go. Side note, I think I read somewhere that it's only in the Middle East. It's like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, they're making a Nismo edition patrol.
Yes.
With like 650 or 700 horsepower or something.
Because there's already a weirdly huge aftermarket for those there.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1200 horsepower patrols, like
Sheesh.
drag racing through the desert. Yeah, it's wild.
So yeah, I mean, I think that makes perfect sense, Tristan. And to be honest with you, I don't know if it necessarily matters what brand Nintendo would attach itself to. I think it's more about the type of vehicle.
Yeah, despite endless brain spinning while I was bored, I didn't get as far as exactly which vehicle or what brand to put it on, because I think that's the root cause. Is the thoughts went deep, but sometimes there's times you don't need to go deep. It would work with literally any car brand.
For sure.
That makes a whole hell of a lot of sense to me. All right, is it time for my third one?
Yeah.
All right, this one, kind of like Tristan, I don't think the car brand really matters that much. The reason I picked the car brand I did has to do with a paint color. So, my thought here was, just how differently people consume music nowadays. You got satellite radio, which is still there, even though it's not really as big as it used to be. It's still kind of convenient, but a lot of people are obviously on Spotify, right? So what about a Spotify edition car that's tailored around sound system? They just launched they call it the car thing, which is like their little voice activated music player that sits on. You can either do it on the CD player or on a vent mount or whatever. You can get, obviously the purchase could come with whatever premium access to Spotify that they would want to give. And the car that I tied it to specifically is the Honda Civic, either the SI or the Type R, because they had that energy green paint up until I think it was like 2016 or 2017. So they offer the Spotify edition SI or whatever with, upgraded sound system, all the Spotify car thing, and this energy green paint to match the Spotify green branding.
I'm not mad about that. I actually think that specifically Spotify makes sense because they've clearly made it, well, maybe not clearly, but they've made a gesture at wanting to be something in the car market with that little did we talk about the Spotify in-car device here? No, that was just on Twitter.
Yeah, and it's actually called the car thing. I'm not just saying it because I don't know the name.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's called car thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the car thing, oh, it's so stupid. Oh, it's so stupid. Oh my god. With the Spotify car device, can't let them win. They've shown that they want to be something in cars completely separate from anything else, right? It's kind of like its own desire. So while they haven't found anyone to kind of let them do that yet as like an included or part of a package, or, started to create their own CarPlay style thing, they're clearly interested. They're not going to bring out a device or a smartphone or anything. And it looks like they're targeting cars specifically. So I think it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah. And actually, as I was digging into this a little bit further, Andrew, Spotify actually has a unique marketing deal with Hyundai right now. I don't know if you knew this, where they paired up with 3 artists. Not really. I haven't heard of any of them, so I don't know if that makes them unpopular or it's just I'm not with it. But one's from Miami, one's from Chicago, and one is from LA. And these artists are essentially giving you like social content, YouTube and Instagram content, touring their hometowns in a Hyundai car. But like Spotify is bringing it all together, and it was like a press release just a couple of months ago.
Well, let me tell you how badly they did at this. This promotion was powered by the all-new 2021 Elantra, which I own. Sponsored by Spotify, which I subscribe to their premium. And so essentially, if this was to be a real thing, I should have known about it. But I don't. Somebody did bad at their job.
There you go. But that doesn't necessarily mean, that's just like saying that Hyundai is the official car of whatever. That's not an actual right. Hyundai edition car, a Spotify edition car, which is where I was going here. And again, I specifically picked Honda because of that energy green paint, which matches very closely, at least, the Spotify green branding.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
So that was the last one that I actually was confident enough to speak to. I don't know how many more you guys have, but I had 3 that I thought was really good.
Yeah, that's all I had, honestly. Those top 3 were my best ones.
Yep. Same here.
The strongest links, you can draw other ones, but I think we named a bunch that are like painfully obvious.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I don't know if you guys have an honorable mention. Like, I have one. Puma has so much Ferrari edition clothes. Can there be a Puma edition Ferrari car? Does Ferrari?
It's not fancy enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like,
Ferrari
maybe not.
Won't allow it.
And Ferrari won't allow it. Yeah, they're real strict with that.
Won't
kind of
stand
stuff.
for it.
Nope. So
yeah, no, I don't have anything else that I'm thrilled with.
All right then. So shall we let the listeners get out of here then?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, alrighty then. Good episode, guys. I think that was really good. If you guys have you listeners out there have any cross-branding ideas that you think we missed, that you also think are glaringly obvious, please send them in. We mentioned already Facebook, Twitter, and Insta. So thanks for sticking with us today. We appreciate you listening. We don't want you just to listen. As I mentioned a few times, we want to interact with you. And we already mentioned how to find us online. Also, wherever you're listening, wherever you're streaming through, be sure to leave us a review there, preferably a good one, 4 or 5 stars, if you don't mind. And or hit that subscribe button for us, okay? It's free. You'll get notified of any new content we put out, and it helps us out with that huge podcast algorithm out there out on the interwebs. If you're really into what we're doing and would like to support this podcast monetarily, you have 2 options for that. You can go to patreon.com/checkenginepodcast or go to anchor.fm/checkenginepodcast, where the show is hosted, and hit the support button right on that main page next to our logo. Every cent pledged is put toward making this podcast a better experience for you, the listener, and none of it goes back into our personal pockets. Again, thank you in advance. There's some cool things coming down the pipeline here that we're getting ready to announce, that the pledges so far have had a hand in helping us out with. So thanks for that. Guys, who or what are we thanking specifically before we get out of here?
I'm going to thank my dad, because he's been putting in a ton of work here at the house and a bunch of other places to get, stuff not just for the podcast, to improve our life in general, but we put the finishing touches on what will be a new studio for the 3 of us to record in, and also like a general hangout room. So it's actually going to be like a comfy studio as opposed to like a desk style one, but it's pretty much done. We have only furniture to go in the room, like the actual construction, the painting, the installation of the floor, and all that stuff is all finished. It's all official. It's all legal and safe. And I think you guys are going to be pretty surprised when you see it. I think it's totally awesome.
I saw a couple pictures. Meg sent some to Claire, and it looks awesome. I can't wait to get down there and actually start recording this in person again. So
yeah, it's gonna be tight.
It's gonna be
I'm
sweet.
excited. So thanks, Dad.
Tristan?
I'd like to thank Naps.
Naps. Shout out Naps.
Yeah.
As we've alluded to in this podcast, I'm on location for a work trip, and I've been thrust into first shift work, and that is too early for me. So naps are wonderful, and naps are why I'm here recording this podcast now. So thank you, Naps.
All right. I'm going to stick with Andrew's theme again, and I would also like to thank my dad. So my parents just got back to Wisconsin a couple days ago, back from their snowbirding out in the Southwest. And basically, first thing my dad did was come over here and spend 4 hours helping me get the go-kart together. So,
hey, you talked about how that wasn't going to happen.
Well, there was some stuff that still we're not as behind.
So it wasn't last minute.
It wasn't last minute. We still have 2 weeks.
There you go. Plenty of time.
We still have plenty of time.
2 weeks, too much time.
But it's still the first thing he did was like, hey, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, why don't like he just called. He's like, why don't I come over there and we'll start wrenching on some stuff? I'm like, okay, let's do it. So yeah, thanks, Dad.
Oh, wait, actually, one last thing before we go. Nick, this might need something. This might require your expertise. So let me the background of this. Something to look, and we'll talk about as we go forward. At the Subway by my house, there are 2 Ford Focus ST owners who are parked there way more often than anyone ever goes to Subway. There's a red one and a black one. Sometimes it's only the red one. Sometimes it's only the black one. It's usually both of them. And I don't know what they're doing.
Working.
No, because they're only there for like an hour or 2. You know what I mean? If we go out shopping or whatever and we see them there, they're not there when we come back. They clearly don't work there. So I will keep you updated. However, you may need to infiltrate.
I was just going to say, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive my Focus over there and I'm going to park next to them.
And they always they always back into the spots. That's the other thing. They always back in.
Okay, so I will back into a spot next to them and I will go into a Subway with a laptop or something and just see what the hell's going on.
Exactly. Something I will keep an eye on the situation. You may have to infiltrate.
Okay, and we've got to think up a cool code name for this mission too.
That's right.
All right, to be determined though. So, thanks, Dad. Thanks, Andrew's dad. Thank you to Naps.
And also my dad.
And also Tristan's
Throw it in
dad.
there.
Why the hell
not?
He did help with I had my
with your nap.
Unfortunately, no. I had my wallet stolen while I was down here, and
that's right.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
Of course,
he did do some of the legwork on getting cards canceled, replaced, etc. So,
well, there you go.
So thanks, dads, all around.
Yep.
And as always, thank you, listeners, for your continued support. We love hearing from you. We love recording this for you, and we cannot wait to speak to you again. But until then, take care.